In this segment, we're going to talk about how important mentorship has been for Ondine's career, and the advice that she would give to young women entering the engineering field. What are some of the biggest challenges that you faced as a woman in a predominantly male field, and how did you overcome them?
So I think the main challenge is usually loneliness, just because it's often that, we're the only woman in a meeting or in a project team or one of few, one of two, one of three. So at times, even if there is not, even no, if nobody is purposely leaving you out, you can feel like you're not really part of the group. Um, so I think this is most of the time this is, the biggest challenge is like knowing that no one is purposely putting you aside and understanding that you are, yeah, you belong here, you are part of the group. And then unfortunately, not, all the time, thankfully, but I've had some inappropriate looks on, my outfits or comments that I've had to take to HR. I know many other women that have been in this situation also that have different harassment complaints that they've had to go through. So it's very regrettable. There are some women also that chose not to go to HR because they thought like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, or like, I don't want to go because then my relationship with this person is going to be affected. And to that, I say, please do go and report it, because if you don't report it, it will never get fixed. It will never change. And there are some people that don't realize that what they say or their behavior is inappropriate or can hurt you. So please go and report it. Please go talk to the person if that ever happens to you. And hopefully that will help stop any of that happening in the future.
Okay, so why don't we switch to mentorship? So, how important has mentorship been in your career, and what advice would you give to young women entering the engineering field?
Yeah, mentoring has been extremely important for me and extremely helpful, only positive things. When I was at my second year, yeah, second or third year, I can't remember exactly. Second year, I think it was at Safran, I was nominated to be part of a talent development group, for their young engineers. And they paired us up with some executive VPs to get those mentoring relationship, which was amazing, as like a 2, 3 years out of college, being able to talk with, someone so high up. And his name is TK Kallenbach, and I still talk to him. He has been amazing. He was an amazing mentor in those first years, and he has been an amazing mentor throughout the years. Like, I always go back to him, and he gives me very unbiased opinions about, decisions that I'm trying to make. And I've also had some informal mentors through women leadership groups, that have helped me, with those sentiments of loneliness and, understanding the specific challenges that we face in this male dominated field. That's been extremely helpful also to know that, you're not alone, and there's this whole support system. And throughout the years, I've had different mentors. Safran does have a formal organized mentoring program. And last year, I've had this amazing mentor. Her name is Reed, and she has been my cheerleader within Safran, helping me get some opportunities of training that, were really great. I've had other mentors in the past at Safran who also helped me, access different roles that were great for my career progression. So yeah, I think mentoring is extremely important, and I would advise any young woman or not so young woman, independently, to go get this team of mentors. May it be like, again, like a cheerleader, like an internal sponsor that's going to help you with trainings, with roles, or even with opportunity like today to be able to, get some visibility. Get a mentor that, you can have like that unbiased opinion, someone that's external to your day-to-day work and can be like, okay, well, because you're so into this situation that you can't see the big picture, and maybe they can bring a little bit of distance and help you see things differently. And then maybe a mentor, to help you with like a specific skill that you're trying to acquire, if that's public speaking, if that's wiring diagrams, whatever it might be. So I'd say at least these three types of mentors, and maybe others if needed, but like having like this little group of mentors you can rely on is very helpful, very, very helpful.
So if you don't have that particular opportunity within a company that you already are with, um, what organizations or resources would you recommend for those aspiring female engineers?
Yeah, so we talked about SWE, Society of Women Engineering. That is an amazing resource. There's so much to say about SWE. There is training that's available online. There's live sessions of trainings that you can attend. They have a formal mentoring program you can enter, and they allow you to do kind of like a speed dating of mentors. So you can find like the person that like will help you with your specific needs. There's obviously the annual conference that's amazing. So a ton of resource with the Society of Women Engineer. I really highly recommend it. That would be one. And then finding mentors can be also, informal through just networking within your company or outside of your company. And usually if you have someone that, you've met and you feel like they can help you and guide you and you reach out to them and like, hey, I would like to mentor with you on XY topic, people usually don't say no.
Right.
So I would definitely, use that as a way of getting some mentors. But you can also look into organizations that are specific to your engineering field. So I work in aerospace, but if you're working in civil engineering, there's for sure an engineering organization for civil engineering that you can, meet people and get those relationships and maybe those mentors.
Okay. So this is kind of still in the same vein of that. What initiatives or support systems have you found effective for fostering a more inclusive engineering environment?
The SWE organization for sure. So, I
Mhm.
mean, these two that we just talked about are important. Um, Now, that being said, so again, it's a male-dominated field. It's a white male-dominated field. So we need to get the majority on board to help us with the inclusivity. So finding male allies, I think, is key. And again, most people want to help and want it to be more inclusive and want their coworkers to enjoy themselves at work and feel like they belong. And they might just not know what to do or how to do. So again, I think reaching out to, some coworker that you trust, that you work well with, and telling them like, hey, I'm seeing this challenge. Like, can you help me? For example, if you feel like you're going in meetings and you don't have a voice at the table, maybe people cut you off, or like you're always last to speak, you'd be like, hey, I have this idea for this meeting that we're going into. Can you like help me and be like, hey, Ondine, you talked to me about an idea. Do you want to share with the team just so that I can have the space to share my idea? Or you can reinforce my idea, like if I share an idea and then you can go and say like, oh, I really support that. I think it would be great. Let's try to work on it. So, find those male allies that will like help you have more presence ultimately in your team. And most people will help.
Okay. So, what are some of the key skills or qualities that you believe are
Sure.
essential for engineers, particularly in multidisciplinary fields like manufacturing and machine design?
Um, With these, multidisciplinary, I think the first one is communication, because we never work alone. We always have to interact with a lot of people. So being able to communicate clearly, concisely, and especially for women, assertively, is key. There is the language that we talked about, that is, another key component in the communication, and the ability to adjust your natural style to your audience. So if there are people or one person that prefers to start with, small talk, how was your weekend, things like that, or do they want to jump directly into the topics, or do they like to have written email with the meeting notes at the end, or will they be offended by that and it's better to like have a good handshake and like look at them straight in the eyes? um can you talk to anybody on the team, or is there like a specific chain of command that you need to follow? So I think observing all of these, nuances and differences, again, nothing's best, nothing's worse, it's just different. But taking time to see how people operate or organization operate and adjusting what you would naturally do to make sure that it works best with all the groups that you're interacting with, I think is really essential. So yeah, communication. And then the second one, a little bit related to that adjustment, like flexibility, adapting, because things move so fast. Our tools change all the time. Our companies like get sold, get bought. Merger and acquisition is like every 2 years, it feels like. So there's a constant evolution. Even if it's, none of the above, but even if it's just like you're going to get a new project or you're going to be put into a new team, I think we need to have that ability to adjust to new circumstances and situations, and be able to learn fast and keep an open mind so that we can support best our companies and ultimately be successful in our careers.
Yeah, that's great advice. It sounds really cliche, meet people where they are, but that's really what you have to do. I mean, and that takes finessing. I mean, some people aren't comfortable in communicating the way another person wants to communicate. So that really that's a big skill that can go a long way for these new engineers or anybody entering the workforce. So I really can't thank you enough for spending today with us. And
Thank you.
yeah, that you were terrific to speak with. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. So until next time, this is Sharon Spielman with Machine Design, and stay curious.